Alright guys, that was basically the core of the whole song. Once we got that down, we started recording vocals. The rapper came in and we just like hit it off. But we comped a whole bunch. As you can see, like we had a whole bunch of takes right here. KOD has like a distorted voice, so I used a plugin called, where is it? Let's see, Vocal Synth. He has like a very distinct sound. This is from, I believe, iZotope. So I pitched it down a few, added like a little bit of distortion, all that kind of things.
Skinny bitches, bring sie zu den Tischen. Wir wollen nur ballern, macht den Doppelschlag, bitches. Zu viel bitches, ich hab zu viel bitches. Ich hab wie gesehen.
And as you can see, like every vocals have like a processing chain, and this one is mine here. We have the vocal synth, which is number 1, because it molds the whole sound, like as if it was his regular voice. Then we have a compressor, nothing too fancy, just taking off the like the spiking sounds. I use Vitamin. Vitamin is an awesome plugin. It's from Waves. What I use it for, like, it gives the whole sound like a little bit more harmonics, that's a word. It fills it out a little bit more. It also has a built-in EQ, but it compresses and like fills out the sound a little bit more. It has a whole bunch of presets, and what I do, I use a preset and then I tweak it from there. Like sometimes the preset is just not working and I was like, okay, I need less low end, so I just take it out from here. But this helps to finalize the whole sound, giving it this compressor, this nice little in-your-face sound. Vitamin is beautiful and amazing. It works wonders. After that, I use an exciter just to get like high end into the vocals, just to give like the last little sparkle on top, so it just also cuts through the mix, because that's super important. If you have a convoluted arrangement like this one here with like a whole bunch of synths, a lot of drums, it's hard for the vocals to like cut through. So this is a super good tip to give it like a little bit distortion on the high end for it to come through. And a de-esser, super important, because the S sounds can be like very sharp and you have to definitely take them out. If you have the time, you should automate the vocals. So sometimes he sings louder, sometimes not as loud. So automate the level so you don't have to run that much compressor, because sometimes the compressor is not going to do the best job of doing exactly that. Automation is also very important for vocals. Now, when it comes to vocals, if you have backing vocals, perfect. That's a whole nother video, I would say. But this one's super straightforward. So we have our main vocals, which is right here, the red one. We have what I like to do, our main doubles. So what I like to do, especially for rapping, you have your main vocals in the middle, and then you have your main doubles, which are left and right, just to give it a little bit more boost. Because sometimes the main vocals sound very lonely, I would say, in the middle. I mean, not full enough. So this is just to like give it like this gang vocal mentality. So that's why I have like this main doubles here.
Lyrics next level, keine kann mich imitieren, ja. Money bitches, Instagram bitches, ganz egal, alle wollen nur den Fame bitches. Ich hab riches, überall riches. So
this just like opens up into like the stereo field. It's just like a little boost. And what I like to do, especially for this kind of music, this is like very, I would say, 2000 trap, 2020 trap. That's what I'm trying to say. We have like shouts, we got vocal delays, all that kind of things. As you can hear, I got the call and response situation. Don't be afraid to open up a new track to do vocal delays specifically for like delays and that kind of stuff. You had these phrases, da 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 da, and I wanted like the very last word, like da da. I wanted only that to delay. So what I did, I just copy pasted this one here, the red one, all the way down to Vox delay and chopped it up, only the parts I needed, and did a delay on there. Reverb and all that kind of stuff. That's an awesome neat trick if you really want to place it specifically. If you listen to like Justin Bieber and stuff like that, he does exactly that. He doesn't put a delay on the main vocals and like delay the whole phrase he's singing. He's just doing a delay on the last word he's pronouncing. So that is a super tip also to keep your mix more clean, I would say. And we got like small shouts like this one. You know, in hip hop how they just shout random words. This is exactly what I did here. Yeah. So that's the vocals on this one. At the very end, we do have a couple of backing vocals, which are just here. But since he's not a singer in that sense, it's just like super basic. A shit ton of auto-tune. Shit ton of compressor and...
Scheiß auf die Bitches.
Yes, if you look at our mixer, it has a whole bunch of tracks. May look overwhelming, but in the end, like this interface is, I definitely love Cubase. It looks different on the other DAWs, but it's absolutely the same thing. So as you can see, we got our inputs, our inserts, our plugins up here for each of our channels. And let's head to our master chain. All right, this is our master chain. I have 2 plugins on this one, but in the end it's going to be probably 4 or something. So first of all, we have a general compressor. The idea of a compressor in this instance on a master chain in general is to glue the track together. If you don't know what glue is, definitely check out my last mixing video. We talked about this as well. So gluing your track together, that means all of your drums, your other sounds, vocals, everything, like volume wise, dynamic wise, it just like glues it to a level so it doesn't really peak that much. You know what I mean? If you have like a snare coming out somewhere, we're gonna take that one down so everything sounds kind of similar. And a compressor, generally, you have many different ones. They always have like a specific sound. So sometimes somebody wants like a high end and they want to achieve it with a compressor. You should probably go with a certain compressor. I just need one to glue it. So I don't need something that changes the characteristic of the sound. I need something just to do the dynamic part. So that's what I did with the compressor here. And a small disclaimer, because everybody thinks you have to do like a lot of compression and all that kind of things. Sometimes you do, but I'm telling you guys, compressor, especially on the master channel, has to be super subtle. You can do more, of course, but it's going to sound super squished. So find a nice sweet spot where you don't have to compress too much. It's just about getting everything glued a little bit together. The rest of the work is going to happen later. So this is a compressor. As you can see, we only have like super low amount of compression, which is probably only like 2 dB or something. Yeah, 1.7. And what I like to do, because it's easy for me and I don't have any outboard analog gear, I like to use Ozone, iZotope Ozone, which is an absolutely incredible plugin. It's basically a whole mastering suite. So everything you need for mastering, you have all of these plugins right in here. So if you're a starting musician or engineer, if you want to call it that, and you want to like master your own songs, you can definitely give it to a mastering engineer. He's going to make a way better job than maybe Ozone, especially if you don't really know what you're doing. But Ozone can definitely get you started. You have a mastering assistant that gives you like a starting point. And after that, what I like to do, I like to run it and see what it does. But most of the time, it uses stuff I don't really need. So I like to set up basic equalizer at first, which is right here. So what this song has like a lot of low end. The kick drum and the bass was a lot, so I took a little bit out right here, and it had very high sizzling hi-hats, and like the vocals were very sharp, so I took a little bit of the top, boosted a little bit of the frequency where the vocals are right here, so they stand out a little bit more. Right here we have our dynamics, which is a compressor. I actually deactivated this one. I tried it, but we don't really need it because I already used one before, so this one wasn't really that important. This one is cool. It's a dynamic equalizer. So sometimes you have like certain instruments which peak in certain frequencies. So this one analyzes it and sees, oh yeah, maybe, I don't know, the cymbal has like a weird frequency and it's just like peaks up sometimes. This one takes care of that only for that frequency and applies a compressor on that frequency. It's absolutely amazing concept, amazing idea. And our maximizer, which is basically a limiter, and adds a little bit of I would say like shine on top of your songs. You have to adjust the maximizer so it sounds good. Don't squish your song. Don't put a limiter on there and just squish the whole song just to get it louder. That's not going to do you any favors. And also very important, that is something we can talk about in the future. And if you don't know what that is, definitely look it up on YouTube or something. There's so many amazing tutorials out there about like getting your songs on Spotify, about LUFS, like the loudness and all that kind of things, because this is where you have to adjust it to your loudness. I usually use like a loudness meter as well to see, okay, this falls into the category where it's good for Spotify. Otherwise, it's going to be softer or whatever. So I use this limiter or this maximizer just to make my sound louder and also like glue it together. That's what the limiter, that's what the maximizer is for. And as you can see, we have some gain reduction here as well, and that is going to happen like on the loud sounds, but it's going to have a little bit more impact because I pushed it a little bit more. This is that kind of song. I wanted to have a little bit more of squishness. It's definitely good that I did this because it's going to be like a club song. It's going to keep you under a certain threshold so it doesn't peak and destroy your sound system. As you can see here, like most of the time, the gain reduction comes when the kick drum comes in. That was intentional for this one. Usually that tells me the kick drum is way too loud compared to everything else. Because otherwise you would have like a static, more or less static like gain reduction. But this one just hits it when the kick drum comes in. But that is actually something I wanted to do. Because when the kick drum comes in, there are a couple of songs. One that stands out very much is Omen by Disclosure. Listen to that one. When the kick drum comes in, everything ducks out. Everything goes out like even the vocals. That is like a crazy amount of limiting, a crazy amount of side chaining in that instance. So I try to like emulate the same thing, but even if it's just a little, it definitely comes through. The kick drum is the most important part about this. So this one comes through and everything else ducks after that, so it stands out more. Know what I mean? Everything I did is intentional. Nothing I did with mixing doesn't have a reason just because it sounds fancy. I'm going to use a compressor here or a maximizer. No, I put it there because I definitely wanted to evoke something. And here's my main takeaway, and I just said it right now. Do everything in arrangement, in songwriting, in mixing, in producing, whatever. Do everything intentional. If you do stuff and you don't really know why you did it, sometimes you're lucky and sometimes it works well. But I'm telling you, most of the time you're going to run into a corner and don't know how to get out of there. So everything you do intentionally. If you use too much compressor or too much something else, it's not going to sound right. You're going to mess up the whole sound. So definitely do everything intentionally. Alright y'all, that was a little deep dive into one of my productions I did. If you guys have any questions about everything I used or anything else, if you want to know more about this song in particular or whatever, just let me know. Follow me on Instagram, send me a DM, or leave a message here in the comments. I'm more than happy to help you guys. Let me know. This is K Productions. We do a whole bunch of these kind of things, so we're here for you. And if you learned a thing or two, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. That would help a lot because I love YouTube and I would like to do more. Thanks for doing that, and yo, I have way more songs I can show you. Definitely subscribe. Thanks for watching. You guys are amazing. Hope to see you soon. Alright, peace.
Ich hab Riches, überall Riches. Money ist keine Schuhe, aber Teilen ist ein Fremdwort. Skinny Bitches, bring sie zu den Tischen. Wir wollen nur Baller, macht ne Double Shot Bitches. Zu viel Bitches, ich hab zu viel Bitches. Ich hab viel gesehen, machen alles für den Fame nie wieder.